Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna, I am Rajarsi Dasa. Welcome to Hare Krishna today. On today's program we have a special guest with us. It's Ananda Vidya Das. Ananda Vidya Prabhu, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Ananda Vidya had been distributing spiritual books for a long time. How many years? Tell us.
It's been over 15 years now.
Okay. So we would like to ask you, Prabhu, if you can tell us a bit about your life before coming to Krishna consciousness and your inspiration to join Krishna consciousness. Then we can discuss a bit about these books that you're distributing. So tell us a little bit about your life before coming to Krishna consciousness.
So I was quite young. I was just graduating from high school. I was 18 years old, and I was definitely searching, spiritually searching. And I was at the time of my life where I was kind of a crossroads. I was trying to, decide which way to go in life, and so it was kind of a crucial point in my life. And I happened to receive a book on Krishna consciousness at a rock and roll concert in Washington, D.C. the summer after my high school graduation. And
which book was that?
the title was Journey of Self-Discovery,
Okay.
Conversations and Lectures with Srila Prabhupada.
Okay.
And yeah, I was at this concert, and I didn't meet the Hare Krishna devotees that night. They distributed to a friend of mine, and somehow I was attracted to this book. I had no idea what it was, where it came from, but there's something inside me that told me that there's something important in this book that I needed to learn from my life. So I asked if I could borrow it from my friend, and that was my first contact, reading this book about Krishna consciousness, learning about you might say a very clear concept of the inner self, the soul. We say Atma in Sanskrit. The understanding that I am spirit, not the physical body. Like getting that clear understanding from the book, and getting a deep understanding of how God is everywhere. The conception of Krishna and his energies was very attractive to me. That we can actually, our whole life can be spiritualized. We can actually experience that God is everywhere. He's within the within the air, within the water, within the earth, everything that we see. That we can see the beautiful artwork of God everywhere. And this way, we can our whole life can be, kind of a transcendental experience.
Well, I would say that for you to be distributing these books for that many years, it must have had a profound impact on you, right?
Yeah, sure.
So you've been distributing these books for that many years, 15 years or so, and tell us something about your travels, because I remember about 10 years ago taking a ride from here, West Virginia, to Washington, D.C. with you. Where about do this service of distributing books, where does it take you? I mean, where do you travel to?
During the school year, I focus on the college campuses in this area. We're here in West Virginia, so I go a lot in Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia. During the summer, we travel a little more extensively on the concert tours, trying to meet the youth across the country. So pretty much you name a state, I probably will be there this summer.
Okay. Now, in terms of this book, these books changed your life. Now, people in general out there pretty much these scriptures says that everybody, they want two things in life. They want to be happy and they want to be free from suffering. Now, can you tell us something about the contents of these books that will really help people to be happy? Because in general it seems as though people are not really in so much in touch with the reality of existence, because from these books we learn about this world that we are living in is an illusory world. Can you speak something about that from the Bhagavad Gita? It's not the real thing. The body that we see in the mirror is not really who I am.
Yeah. Well, the wonderful thing about these books, you're speaking about becoming free from suffering and attaining happiness. The wonderful thing about the Bhagavad Gita, first of all, it explains to them what, the situation that they're in, explains to them, first of all, that there is a problem, that, the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita explain that there's a cycle of birth and death, that material life means that one is undergoing a series of tribulations due to, an illusory, existence or sense of identity due to taking on a material body. It means undergoing disease, old age, birth, death, and it's compared to a great ocean. Like one is in the middle of an ocean just waiting to drown. So that's quite a precarious situation, to be stuck in the middle of an ocean. Even if you're an Olympic swimmer, you're very expert at swimming, but if you're in the middle of an ocean, it doesn't matter.
You can't save yourself.
Yeah, you're in a tough situation. So the Bhagavad Gita explains, first of all, that you're in this ocean of material existence. It's called samsara, this cycle of birth and death, of the ocean of material existence. Very, very clearly explains what our problem is, that we're souls, we're spiritual beings. That's the first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, that we are eternal and we're of the nature of spirit, but we are within this dark, dead, material existence, covered. In that sense, we're like fish out of water. We're out of our natural habitat, our natural environment, and therefore there's an incompatible situation. The fish out of water, no matter what, whatever he tries to enjoy, will never satisfy him because he's out of his natural environment. He needs to be put back into the water. So Bhagavad Gita explains, first of all, what our problem is, and then how to overcome it. First of all, people have to understand that there is a problem, that they're in the wrong
place, they're in the wrong situation.
Yeah. There is a higher level of happiness than what they're striving for and what they've experienced on the material platform. There's another level, transcendental enjoyment, happiness, fulfillment, that's accessible to us, and is our right as spiritual beings.
Well, people would say, but this is tangible. The taking some intoxicants or contacting, the body of the opposite sex, they feel some tangible pleasure, but they say this religious thing that you're speaking about seems as though that requires some belief, some things like that. So how do you deal if people put up these things? Well, but I can experience this. So how do you respond?
That's
to
where
that?
the practice comes in. That's our method of meditation, chanting, gives the tangible experience of this higher realm of happiness very quickly. Anyone who takes to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra seriously gives themselves to the practice of, we call it devotional service, bhakti yoga. They get this tangible experience. Therefore, it's not a theoretical understanding. It's something we can actually experience. Maybe not the full experience right away, but we get definitely glimpses, and it encourages us to go on and on, to reach that goal.
I guess you would use as an example Srila Prabhupada coming to New York City, and from the time he came and he started his society in 1966 to the time he passed away in 1977, he had thousands of followers all over the world. So you may use that as some tangible proof that people could actually get some higher pleasure if they apply themselves.
Yeah. And they were experiencing the bliss, the happiness that comes from this connection with our true self, with Krishna, with the spiritual energy. They were experiencing that happiness. Otherwise, how could thousands of people give themselves, taking to Krishna consciousness fully means to really dedicate yourself. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and how could so many young people who are just on the threshold of enjoyment, 20-year-old, just going into the material world, how could they give that up and take to the path unless they were really experiencing something deep inside?
Sometimes people follow religious scriptures, but they're religious, but they indulge in sense gratification separately. Religion is one thing, yes, you'll believe in religion, but you look for pleasure elsewhere, in sense gratification. But from our experience, devotees look for that piety, so that spiritual pleasure from religion or the spiritual practice. Could you speak a little bit about how practically in Srila Prabhupada's movement, how he taught people that they could actually be happy with spiritual practices or spiritual discipline, as opposed to people believing in religion here, but when you want to enjoy your senses, then you go elsewhere, or you deviate from the religious practice?
Yeah.
Like chanting, for example. I mean, people think they need to go to a party and take intoxicants to be happy, right? But maybe you can describe Hare Krishna people's experience.
Yeah, in our temples we have parties every day. First party in the morning is 4:30 in the morning, first party of the day, and we have during the day, as much as possible, chanting, dancing, feasting. It's all part of the program, but it's clean. There's no intoxication. There's no degraded material activity in any way. It's all spiritual activities, and the devotees are, might say, they're faithful or chaste to, or they're satisfied with whatever Krishna gives them. They don't have to necessarily look outside or look for other outlets for their enjoyment. They just accept what Krishna gives them. There's one particular bird that only drinks water when it drops from the clouds. So it's always waiting for the cloud to shower rain, and it's satisfied in that. In the same way, the devotee knows that Krishna will give me what I need. He knows what I need, and I don't need to look elsewhere for enjoyment, fulfillment. Krishna is the reservoir. Rama means reservoir of pleasure. Krishna means all attractive. Krishna himself is always happy, full of bliss. If we study Krishna's life, Krishna's qualities, he's always enjoying. He's an ocean, a reservoir of enjoyment, pleasure. So the closer we come to Krishna, and that's what it means to chant Hare Krishna, it means we're contacting Krishna directly. The Lord is not different from His holy name. By chanting the Lord's name, we're coming in contact, we're contacting Krishna directly. And because He's full of bliss, we're also becoming blissful, happy, and seeing the difference also, seeing what is the nature of material, the material pursuit of enjoyment, and seeing the shortcomings of that in terms of its temporary nature, and basically its inferior nature. If you can analyze both, if you have an experience of both, then you can make a serious analytical study. Which is better? Which do I prefer?
In other words, you can compare people trying to be happy by taking intoxicants and the consequences of that.
Yeah.
Or say, people just want to indulge. As a matter of fact, generally we say, sometimes people ask us, what is sin? So generally I would say, any thought, any word, or any action that is not pleasing to God or is against scriptural injunctions, that's sinful. So you're saying that we should be contented by doing things that is pleasing to God. That is,
Yeah, the understanding is that we're part and parcel of God. And it's our inherent nature and our, you might say, duty to give pleasure to God. Our pleasure depends on His pleasure. If Krishna is happy, then we become happy, just as Krishna is the root of all existence. By pouring water on the root, then all the parts of the tree become nourished and satisfied. So we're dependent on Krishna,
So would you say that if there's a chaotic condition in the world, or if people are experiencing miseries in their life, then there is some indication that we are doing things that are not pleasing to God? Would you say it's breaking the laws of God, or something that is not compatible with their existence?
Yeah, whenever there's disharmony or any scarcity, it's due to breaking the laws of nature, the laws of God, and acting in a way that's against the natural harmony of things. Krishna is not. Krishna wants us to live a peaceful, happy life, but He doesn't want us to exploit it. Doesn't want us to take more than we need, because it causes an imbalance. And the Ishopanishad explains that one should be satisfied with what their quota in life is. Everyone has a certain quota, and should be happy with the bare necessities, basically. And as soon as one starts to encroach upon others, then there's an imbalance, and naturally the laws of nature will react in the form of different types of.
Srila Prabhupada taught some principles that would seem to be radical to people in the Western world. For example, he came and gave this injunction of the Vedas that Jiva Himsa, never commit violence to other living beings. But of course, people in the West were familiar with that in terms of the Bible, right? That thou shalt not kill or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So Srila Prabhupada said that we should see that our eating habits does not cause inconvenience to other living beings, right?
Yeah.
So could you speak a little bit about not causing pain to other living beings?
Yeah, there's a there's a saying in Sanskrit. It says Matrivat paradareshu paradravyeshu loshtravat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yapashiti sapandita. One is considered to be wise or learned if they see three things. Matrivat paradareshu, they see all others' wives except their own wife as a mother. They're not desiring other people's wives. They're seeing with respect all ladies, all women except their own wife as a mother. Matrivat paradareshu, and then paradravyeshu lostravat, that all others' property is like just stones or garbage in the street. In other words, they're not,
something you hanker or you want to take.
Yeah, you're not envying somebody else's possessions. You leave it be. And the third one is Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu. You treat other living beings as you would like to be treated.
That's like the golden rule,
Exactly,
right?
yeah. It's a universal principle. Before I do something to you, I have to consider how I would feel if that happened to me. Simple concept, but this is what distinguishes between one who's wise and one who's not. So to consider, I don't want to have my throat cut. I don't want to have my life cut short. Why should I unnecessarily do that to another living being? I say unnecessarily because if you can live without causing harm, unnecessarily killing pigs, chickens, cows, if you can live just as healthy or even healthier with a vegetarian diet, then why unnecessarily cause the suffering? They have the right to live out their life just as we do. So why unnecessarily cause them suffering? It's not necessary.
As we said earlier on, people in general, they do want to be happy, but unfortunately, the very things that people do to be happy, it creates reactions. Like toxic means poison. If they take intoxicants, then it destroys their existence. So could you prescribe some practical things that people could do that they can make their life more peaceful and they can actually be happy, by adopting some practices in their life?
Yeah, where everyone is looking for this, inner peace and some deep experience. People take intoxication because they want to experience a higher level of consciousness. They want to get some relief. But unfortunately, as you say, they take to means which are harmful. Intoxication means you're poisoning your body and your mind. You're destroying your mind, and you're becoming dependent on some artificial, chemical substance. It's harmful to you. But still, the bottom line is people need something to give them a sense of relief, sense of happiness, enjoyment, higher level of consciousness. So this is what is what's offered in the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. This type of meditation that we perform. It's giving us, a natural type of intoxication that, it's not harmful to the body. On the contrary, it's quite beneficial to the body. Everyone knows if you're free from anxiety, then your body actually works more, more naturally. There's less, toxins, harmful, toxins in the body. When one becomes angry or overly full of anxiety, then the body becomes polluted in so many ways. So this type of these practices, chanting Hare Krishna, this type of meditation that we perform, it's beneficial to the body and the mind, and it's free, and it's easy, and it gives the result in a very short time.
Just as we conclude, can you tell us again about your conviction about the books that you distribute, how people can actually take advantage? Can you speak a little bit about what are some of the books that, the message that it conveys that could benefit people's life?
Yeah, the books are the words of Krishna and his representatives, and Krishna is all merciful. He's everyone's eternal father and well-wishing friend, and Krishna doesn't want us to suffer. He wants us to come back home. The books are explaining how we can attain our full potential. You know, we all have a treasure deep inside our heart that's just waiting to be brought out, to be uncovered, to be discovered. And the books are teaching a practical means of how to uncover that treasure of, you know, deep internal happiness and peace and ecstasy and knowledge, you know, enlightenment that's there. It's our true potential that's just waiting to be brought out. The books are giving a practical means how to bring that out.
Okay, Ananda Vidya Prabhu, thank you very much for being on the program.
My pleasure.
Okay, I'm Rajarsi Das saying Hare Krishna. Do join us again next week for another presentation.